And welcome back to episode 88 of the Weekly Tech Rant with me, Jay.
And me, Carl.
Is the music going to do the weird thing again? Is it? No, I think we got away with it this
We're
time.
good.
So, yes, we are back for episode 88 for our Google I.O. special with a look at all of the top tech that, we kind of think, we'd like to talk about this week. And, this is not necessarily an Apple show. So, we do cover other technology, other vendors are available. And this week, of course, is Google. So I.O. being their flagship summit, isn't it, for all things Google?
It is, yeah.
Which kind of talks about hardware, software, other products and stuff. And it's a pretty good event. Oh, Carl, I must say to you, this week we have another co-host with us tonight of the four-legged, wet-nosed, waggy-tail version.
Oh, do we?
Yes, but she's a bit quiet. She's not got her headphones on. So if she speaks up, she speaks up, I'll let you know.
Okay.
So Google I/O, which was held as a hybrid event again. A hybrid event this year, wasn't it? Sorry, as opposed to the virtual events that we've had before. And it held, well, there was keynote online. They have a developer keynote as well, and they cover everything. And it's a pretty good show, and they have lots of big names come out. Of course, it wouldn't be a Google show if it wasn't in California. So it was held in San Francisco, if I remember correctly, wasn't it?
I think so.
This year, and approximately, I think in the years gone by, they've had a few thousand people there at times. But this year, I think obviously slightly smaller due to the pandemic. So then, Carl, what have we got tonight then for a lineup of all of the things that piqued our interest, so to speak?
Wow. Yeah, there was a number of things. So I didn't think it was a massively impressive event. I don't know. It's just not quite the same as an Apple event, is it? But I suppose that's down to showmanship.
They're not quite the same panache, is it? You know what I mean?
No, but we've got at long last, we have the Pixel Watch. So more about that in a minute. We've got the 6A, Pixel Buds Pro, even the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, even though they're not going to be out till way later. And strangely, we've got some products from next year. I don't know why they didn't save them for the next event, but we'll talk about that soon.
Maybe they'll come out before the next event.
Yeah.
There was also a couple of software updates, wasn't it? So they also dropped the Android 13 beta 2, wasn't it? That was announced as well at the same time. And I'm sure I scribbled something down here about Matter as well, wasn't there? There was I think there was a couple of keynotes or mentions of the Matter standard.
I missed that one. I was going to look at that one afterwards.
I think I saw. I was trying to find it. I saw a headline about it, but I couldn't find what they actually covered in it. But I know that it was referenced in the show somewhere. But I can't have been too much information. Maybe it was just an update on on what was coming, because I think there's quite a few products are due to be released this year from several of the Alliance members, which cover quite a wide spectrum of members, isn't it?
But everyone's in on that one. Yeah.
Well, yeah, as I say, because the Zigbee Alliance, which was people like IKEA, wasn't it? Who else was Samsung, Schneider Electric were on there as well. Signify, who I had to remind myself used to be Philips Lighting, didn't it?
Philips Hue. I still call them Philips Hue.
Yeah, amongst other people. But we're going to talk about, I guess, let's say, some of the product info tonight, isn't it? That have dropped, which kind of aligns a bit like an Apple show in that sense.
It does. So we'll start off with the Pixel Watch, won't we? So obviously we've been hearing rumours about this for ages. John Prosser's had mock-ups for like the last year and a bit. It's coming. It's definitely going to be here. And then we hear nothing. But Google have finally announced it, and it's exactly what he says it's going to be. And it does look lovely. I do like the design. It's round, so it's not square like the Apple Watch.
Traditional.
It's traditional, yeah. It's got a convex glass, curved glass face as well. I've always wanted a round smartwatch. I love the Moto 360 when it first came out.
That's right, yeah, yes.
They've had several reasons. I've always thought, that's a good looking smartwatch. The Apple Watches are nice, but they just don't look as good as that Moto 360. And yeah, the Google Pixel does look very, very nice. Obviously, this has been a long time coming, hasn't it? They bought, what was it, Fossil back in 2015 for $40-odd million. And recently, back in 2019, they bought Fitbit for $2.1 billion. So we've known for a long time it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all in on the watches and the health trackers now. It's got a touch screen, obviously. It's got a crown like the Apple Watch. It's going to have heart rate and sleep tracking. Obviously, going to be running Wear OS. So it won't work with your iOS devices, which isn't really a shock, but I thought I'd say that. Bizarrely, though, no release date or price yet.
Interesting. Wasn't there? Well, my voice went funny there. Sorry. Wasn't there a Wear OS app for iOS though previously?
Yes, there was. I'm sure there used to be some way because you could get the Moto 360 to work on iOS.
Yeah, I was going to say
featured, but
I recall there being a Wear OS app, say. But yeah, I think it is a. I mean, just to kind of go back to the watch itself, you're right. It's a stunning looking watch. Very traditional, as you say, shape. That convex glass. So I don't know that part. I'm not. To me, it just looks a bit bulbous, but that's just my view on it. But I think the whole design, has
like a pebble.
hallmarks. Yeah, but it has the Apple hallmarks. The quality's there. There's a great picture of the back of the watch showing you the sensors, telling you what's on there. The GPS, obviously what's the heart rate sensor, I'm guessing, in there as well as perhaps maybe O2.
Heart rate and sleep tracking. Didn't hear anything about cellular.
No. Interesting. Did you see also it's got a kind of interesting thing how the strap comes undone. So like you slide a bit like the Apple Watch, the straps slide into the sides, but then there's almost like a twist on the face itself.
Oh, okay.
And it locks it in. Yeah, it's a kind of little video that Google had that showed that. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, you're right. They're coming into a market here where they've not particularly done well. Apple have cemented the smartwatch market. They've built a business which is
they've cemented
bigger
than watch market.
Well, yeah,
they're the biggest watch manufacturer in the world.
Exactly, bigger than all of the other incumbents put together, including big players, of course, like Rolex and other players. And you're like, what can they do differently here? And Samsung, of course, have been doing, Samsung watches have been taking up quite a bit of time, haven't they? And that was a bad pun. I apologize. Fitbit themselves, of course, as you say, and Fossil and other players have kind of filled that gap of a Google smartwatch piece. So it appears to me that Google want to come in. They want to have that first party approach that Apple have.
Yep.
And to do that, you've got to have a quality product, and it's got to have the pairing of the software, the applications, and the experience, isn't it?
You need a complete ecosystem, don't you? The watches,
and that's it,
seamlessly with the phones and your online services, the aggregation of that data, like health and stuff, all just seamlessly in there.
And you know what? Apple didn't get it right first time around. It took several iterations of that watch. I think I've said before. I got a Gen 2 Apple Watch when they came out.
I got the original.
Bought it in America.
It became Gen 0, didn't it? They renamed it from Series 1, Series 0. It's like, what? I've been downgraded.
You know what? I bought into the hype. I got it in the US when it was cheaper. I had it and I was like, it's great, and it's a great thing. But the ecosystem wasn't fully formed at that point, and there just wasn't the capabilities to make it what it is today. That watch, I don't take off now, not because I'm an exercise freak who loves it, but it's all the other capabilities. It's integration with messaging, it's integration with two-factor authentication, single sign-on. It is the health aspect as well, not necessarily the exercise piece. And of course, Google need to do all of that, don't they? And Fitbit, I think, are going to be the key player in this story.
They are. The other thing I couldn't even find out. Is it waterproof?
I would be surprised if it wasn't, wouldn't you?
Well, that's what I thought, but I've just Googled that now and can't find any information on whether it's waterproof or not. So maybe it's just not known. Google haven't released that. But you might have said.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, I would be surprised if it wasn't at least what's Splash? Is that IP67, isn't it? Splash, I think, isn't it? Maybe that might be too high. Actually, now I've said that.
It's fully waterproof, isn't it?
Yeah, I would be surprised if it wasn't at least splash proof, i.e. that if you wore it in the rain or whatever, or running or whatever that power. I would imagine if it was sport watch like Apple, they'd have shown something showing it getting wet.
Yeah, definitely.
I could be wrong. They could be keeping that under their hats, as to showcase when it comes out later this year. But to me, I would imagine it's got to be at least waterproof in the sense of, splash proof, i.e., water resistant. Because if you're going to wear it, well, there was loads of pictures of people wearing it on their bikes, wasn't it?
Yes, it's got to very least be sweat proof, isn't it?
Yeah. And the other thing is that I did see there is a 4G LTE version as well.
Oh, there is there?
Yeah, they did confirm there's a 4G version. And interestingly, I don't know if you saw, there was on one of the sites I read, apparently in one of the somebody, I don't know where they've confirmed this wrong, but apparently there's code in that which relates to the Exynos Samsung hardware.
Oh, really?
The Galaxy Watch 4 is Exynos powered to the CPU.
Yeah.
And it could be, perhaps it may be that Google have done some cross testing with on that platform, because obviously this is not Exynos, this is Tensor, the same of that, isn't it? It's going to be all in that Google
Well, they haven't
family of
confirmed it's a
CPUs.
Tensor chip in there.
I would be surprised if it's not. Really would be not.
Yeah, would definitely.
Or have they based this particular mobile chipset, i.e., sorry, the watch chipset, I mean, off Exynos? Given the fact that Samsung have got a close working partnership with them, haven't they? And
they have, yeah.
And also, that why not? If they've already done that, it saves them a lot of time. But to go, one thing I will say though, and I've got it scribbled down here, is it was back in December that John Prosser, back in December 21, Prosser showed the renders of the watch, and you are right, he was bang on.
Yeah,
with it.
Spot on.
Yeah, so I don't know. Look, there's so much, in its favor here that Google can do, and they've got massive amount of opportunity. I just worry, that have Apple cornered that space. Of course, if you're not an Apple user and you're an Android user, well, then they haven't cornered that space. But what I mean is, in terms of the market share, I think I should say.
Yeah, I think so. They are always ahead, aren't they?
It does seem that way, but I think this is a big opportunity for Google. It's a great looking bit of hardware. We don't know the full specs yet, of course, but what is there is that it's got all of the capabilities, and those acquisitions definitely going to be playing into it. So
definitely,
I was pleased to see it. I would be more impressed
about that one.
Yeah, I'll be more impressed when I see some of the benchmarks in terms of how does it operate, what's it like, battery life, those kind of stuff. Because all of the other stuff, the heart tracking, the fitness tracking, they're commoditized now, aren't they? Really,
they are. Yeah.
So yeah, all cool. All right, so Pixel Watch then, of course, snappy name. I must add, we forgot to mention that very snappy name.
Yeah.
So what we also got then the Pixel 6a, didn't they? They announced,
the new budget king, maybe.
I think they're bang on the money here. So I have my Pixel 6 right in front of me here. This is my daily driver for my work phone. I like
as a work phone.
Yeah. I mean, I like to rock both worlds. I used to have two iOS phones, which is great, but I kind of like the Android fact because it does give me clear separation then. But yeah, the A phones have launched back with the Pixel 3a, wasn't it? Which was the kind of first of the gang, which I had one of those, didn't I?
You did for a short period.
It didn't bounce. It didn't bounce very well. I'm surprised.
Does it bounce? No, it does not.
It's a bit like does it blend? But yeah, so the Pixel 6a is due to be released the end of July, if all things well. Coming in as well at a really good price point. I think was it 449?
449, the same price as the 5a.
Yeah, fantastic, really. And given that it's pretty much a Pixel 6, so it's got the Tensor, the same Tensor CPU. Yep. It's got the Google's Titan security chip in it, but 5G capable, and also it's got that awesome camera, which I have to say I do think is really, really good.
Well, some things have changed though. So you've got two cameras. Obviously, with the Pro you get free, but they have downgraded the main camera from 50 megapixel down to 12.2. You've still got the same 12.2 ultra wide though.
Yeah, but the 50 megapixel was only available on the 6 Pro, though, wasn't it?
6 and 6 Pro.
Was it? That's how about as much I pay attention to what megapixels are on this camera.
I did my research just to see what was actually different. But yeah, you've got that, obviously. So still, it's Google. You're going to get a good picture out of it. They do know their software side, don't they? They take good pictures. I think you get slightly less RAM, don't you? You've got a 6 gig of RAM compared to the 8 on the 6 and the 6 Pro, I think. and it's a 6.1 OLED screen. So still a decent screen. They're not as big as the other ones, because I think they're 6.7, aren't they?
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
slightly larger screens.
this is a 6.1, isn't it? Yeah, so yeah, the 6 Pro is a big phone. There's no shadow of doubt on that. But I mean, comparing it to the 6, it's a no.
Oh
I
yeah,
think it's almost a
nearly
slight
nearly a
upgrade.
6 for less money. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And I think if you're coming in that budget space, which for a long time was owned by the Moto range,
Yes.
um, for that almost pure Android experience, which I think a lot of people probably do want. Obviously, if you're a Samsung fan, you're going to be familiar and enjoy the Samsung experience. But there is something to be said about that pure vanilla Google, how Android, sorry, has Google intended it to be. You think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Samsung makes some good hardware. I've never been a fan of their One UI and stuff they slap over the top of Android.
Mm.
It's got better. I mean, it used to be horrific. It's tolerable to me now, but it's not. Yeah, I just prefer the standard out of the box Android.
Yeah, it does what it says on the tin. I like it. I mean, the experience. I mean, I have to say, I am rocking the current Android 13 beta at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Nothing nothing sleeping out of me features wise yet. Just some general improvements across the UI though, especially around the launchers, the applications. Interesting, a couple of battery saving things I've spotted as well, which are quite good, which I think are build on Android 12. But the 6.8 will come with 13.
Gonna get
That
5 years
point,
of security updates.
yeah, well, it also comes with the Pixel feature drop thing as well, isn't it? Which is the kind of
Yeah.
the updates. And again, because it is a Pixel device, it will get capabilities beyond that of usually the other players in the market. But
Yeah.
Android are pretty good these days, though, aren't they? With the features updates, as we saw that back with, I want to say Android 10, wasn't it? When they unified the update process. Remember?
They did. Yep.
I can't think of the name of the project. Remember what it was called? We were sat there at the keynote.
We were at the keynote, but can't remember the life of me. There was
But
a
the
lot of
ability
beer
to,
drunk after that keynote.
but when they separated out, didn't they, the updates from the main OS platform to allow it to be more streamlined. But yeah, so the 6A, as you said, 6.1 inch OLED screen, the old punch out camera holes, which are reasonably noticeable. But you get what you pay for, so to speak. The always on display, which I think that's a pretty good feature, given that isn't something you see on every budget device.
No, exactly. You still don't get those on iPhone, so.
No, the only thing I will say about the Pixel phones, and we'll talk about it when we talk about the other one, is the camera bump at the back, that kind of ridge
The
is
bar,
big.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it is really noticeable. I mean, I've got mine in a case, and I don't think I would not want to go out with that case on it, to be honest with you, because of that protrusion. Though it has got the Corning Gorilla Glass, I think it's the Gorilla Glass 3. It is owned, and the 6A again is an IP67. Yeah, so I just looked it up. IP67 is dust and water resistant.
Okay.
So IP68 is fully water resistant.
Okay.
So remember two the 68 is 2 scales, so 6 is total protection against solid ingress, and 8 is total protection for water, which means if you have a 68 it can go below 1 meter for more than 30 minutes.
That's the one. Yep.
Or a 67, not quite.
Still don't
So
want
that's
to test it.
no. So that 12 megapixel camera you mentioned about, so the 50 on the 6 end. But going back to that 50 megapixel camera, when we were talking about this before, that you're not getting a 50 megapixel camera though, are you? Because it's a bit like
I
the
think
way
they
that
use it to top it down, isn't it? So I think you probably get a 12.5 image or something like that.
yeah. So what are you getting then from a 12 megapixel camera?
You just get a 12.2 megapixel.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. So it's kind of funny marketing, in my opinion, if you don't,
It is, yeah. The 50 should give you a better image quality, even sampled down to 12.5, because it's just more to play with. But I don't know. We'll see when the reviews come out. I'm sure it'll still be great.
Yeah, the other thing, and the other thing I picked up was the 4400 megahertz battery, milliamp battery. Sorry, isn't it?
Yep.
Not megahertz. What am I on about? Which is Google, according to Google specs, reckon 24 hours, with a charging speed of 30 watts. Now, I have to say the 6, if I don't use it heavily, I can get probably day and a half battery life out of it.
Okay.
If I don't use it heavily. Compare that to my iPhone 12 Pro that sat next to it. That's not the same story. Though I have to say I've not looked at the 6 to see what battery degradation is like, but just for kind of comparison, what's the 12 Pro here is coming up 2 years, isn't it? Yeah, and
yes.
my battery capacity is 92% now.
Okay, I'm not sure what mine is.
So you only go into battery health. Yeah, 92%. So I don't know what how Google's comparative to that, but it's not too bad. There was one other thing I saw. Where
I'm on 88%. I've lost a bit more.
What have you done to yours, my man?
Been using it.
And of course, the other thing was the under-screen display fingerprint scanner, which the six range have got as well. Which again, I find works well, but isn't always accurate.
No.
No. It is not as quick as Touch ID. And I don't know whether that's because of the under-screen capability or whether it's just the technology. I don't know.
Don't know. I mean, it could be the under-screen, but I've had ones where they've had the touch in the power button, and they worked really, really quickly. No complaints there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe my screen's filthy. I have no idea, but don't know. Oh, the other thing we didn't mention was colors, wasn't it? It comes in 3 colors, which is chalk,
which is
sage,
green,
and charcoal.
Black. Or space gray. Yeah.
Right, so now I'm going to get my Pixel 6a then, Carl. What else can I go with it? So you've got the accessories for me?
Wow, so you got a watch, you got a phone, now you need something to put in your ears.
Yes.
So yeah, Google announced the Pixel Buds Pro as their first earbuds with active noise cancellation, as well as spatial audio.
Ooh.
Only one paired with a compatible Pixel phone. They didn't state which ones they were.
I like that. It's compatible with a phone. We're not telling you which
Pixel.
one.
Maybe the 7, maybe the 6. Who knows? I'm sure they'll release that hopefully soon, because they're due out July the 21st for $199.
They are, which is quite a good price point given capabilities on them, aren't they?
It is. They've got some custom kit in there, haven't they? They've got they built a 6-core audio processor powered by Google's algorithms. Custom drivers gone in there. Touch control, IPX4 rated, so that must be sweat proof or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it? Yeah. They are nice looking though. The only thing I will say is, and I think I said this to you in the preamble, it does look like somebody's cut half a AA battery and shoved it in your ear though. That's kind of I don't know what it is. I think I've got used to the AirPods look. That these Bud ones just always look like, I see people, they look like they're sticking out their ears. I don't know. Each to their own, and I'm
cool
sure
colors. Yeah, I didn't catch what the names of these colors were, but they look like what do we call it? Charcoal, chalk, sage, and then an orange one.
It's got to be, because there's got to be something like burnt ochre or something.
Probably, but yeah. So I mean, it supports it. Is it that multi-point connectivity? You can connect to multiple devices at once. Apparently, you've got 7 hours of battery life with the noise cancellation on, 11 without. It's got some cool volume EQ features. So basically, some AI that adjusts the EQ as you lower the volume based on the surrounding noise.
Is that Bluetooth 5 though, isn't it?
I'd imagine so. Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah,
and this is the other one I like. So yeah, they basically, it's all about maintaining that balanced sound profile. But they've scanned thousands of ears to find the shape the most comfortable for people, and obviously base the ear tip things on those. However, if they still don't fit you properly, they've got some app called Silent Seal, or built into the Pixel Buds, that basically can adapt to your ears to maximize the effectiveness of the ANCs. So basically constantly monitoring, I suppose, feedback and stuff. They even monitor the pressure inside your ear canal, and they can relieve it as needed to keep you comfy.
So Apple do that, don't they, with the AirPods Pro, where you can do the test for noise cancellation.
Yeah.
My Sony XM4s, which I'm wearing right now, they have a thing called sort of active sort of sound thing that helps adjust the pressure in them. So that's quite clever, actually. I think you know, if you're going to wear them and they're going to have decent noise cancellation, that's going to work, you know, because you need to make sure that it's blocking everything else out, isn't it? And
definitely.
I think isn't it that those those tips are moldable, aren't they? I think it said. I guess into
Probably,
your ear shape. By the way, I did just find out what the colours were called.
Okay, go for it.
And you were bang on the money. They are charcoal, lemongrass.
Oh, it's lemongrass, is it? Okay,
Yep.
not sage.
Fog.
Fog.
and coral.
Oh, it's coral, is it? Of course.
That's the red, yes. Which reminds me, because I think the Pixel 3a came in coral as well.
Righty ho. Well, that's get me a set of corals.
Give me a set of corals. So charging then, what's it? Got to be USB-C, isn't it? I bet. Or are they wireless?
I don't know. I didn't catch what the charging was.
I think it's USB-C. I've seen on the picture somewhere, but I would bet my hat that they're Qi chargers as well. They've got to be, haven't they? Given
Definitely.
they're a pro piece there, and I'd also imagine, given what we talked about with the 6A and these buds, and probably whatever comes, there'll be no charging cable in the box. You're going to be,
Qi certified for wireless charging.
Yeah, so there'll be no cables in the box. It's going to get there, but battery life, I did have a quick notice here. Battery life is apparently 31 hours without ANC and 20 hours with, according to Google. Sorry, that's battery life with the earbuds and the case. Sorry,
I'll say and the case. I was about to say, whoa, that tallies up differently to what I have.
sorry. Battery life is 11 hours and 11 hours with ANC. Sorry, without ANC. 7 hours if you enable ANC. So I think it's, you know, that's not bad for a bud. I mean, because I don't personally think the AirPods last that long. Well, not anymore. They don't. I'm already seeing battery degradation on my AirPods Pro.
Oh, really? When did you get those? About a year ago?
About a year ago, yeah. And I've got the classic one, you know, where one goes before the other.
Oh, joy.
Yeah.
You're like, have I just gone deaf in one ear? What's going on?
Well, I was mowing the lawn earlier, and I had exactly. I was like, what?
Hello?
I was like, you know, I took them off, and I was like, and I put it back in. I'm like, why can I only hear the right-hand side? Because I thought for a minute I dropped one. I was like, oh my God.
Oh no. Eaten by the lawnmower.
Yeah. But no, the left-hand side battery had completely gone.
Oh.
Peculiar. Absolutely peculiar.
Wow.
Yeah. Very weird. So these are due end of July then, aren't they?
They are indeed, yeah.
$199 US. Not bad. I quite like them actually. I'm impressed. I would like to see what they look like on real people rather than the models, though. You know.
Yeah. No one looks that good all the time.
Yeah. So what else do we get then? Because obviously we've got a Pixel 6a. Surely we must be getting a new Pixel, eh?
Oh, we did. Well, this isn't going to be to the end of the year, so details are scarce. But Google did announce the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, but they've been leaking this for months as well, haven't they?
Yes, and I think they've consistently leaked, haven't they? To be honest,
they have. So, I mean, it's a very similar design to the 6. So, you know, it's large. It's got the, what do they call it, the camera bar on it. It's got a soft matte touch glass back, or whatever you call it, soft touch glass. The bar looks like it's polished aluminium at the back now. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a dual camera on the 7, a triple camera on the Pro, like 6. What Google are saying there, the Pro's camera setup is a completely new standard for photography, performance, and design. So they're getting the buzzwords in there. Apparently, it's going to have a next-gen tensor SoC on it. The buzzwords go more. Designed to deliver the most helpful personal experience you can get in a smartphone. So I'm guessing it's going to be doing a lot more AI processing there. And of course, it's going to come with Android 13.
Well, I'd be surprised. I'd be shocked if it didn't, you know.
I know, but other than that, and a few was it one shot or 2 pictures of it? That's all the information we really got on it.
Well, it is, 2 pictures of it, which is the back of the camera, isn't it? Close up with the Pro.
Yeah, and one with different colours, haven't they?
Yeah, but there, you know, you can go to the store.google/magazine/Google_Pixel.
That lemongrass green.
It's got to be lemongrass green on that page there. You know, and they very handily positioned it alongside the watch and the earbuds. You know, because you're going to buy all three, aren't you? Of course.
I
But
like the look of the grey one with the gold accents. That looks quite good.
what I would say is if you got rid of that camera bar across the top, you know, that protrusion, which they have slimmed it down, I have to say, from the 6. If you got rid of that and you blinked, it looks like an iPhone.
Yeah, it does,
Because
doesn't it?
It's quite thin. And when I say iPhone, I don't mean necessarily the 12 or the 13.
No, it looks like the X, doesn't it, with the rounded corners?
Yeah. But it's much thinner than the 6, or at least it looks like it in the pictures. The 6 looks a fatter phone. Not to we're being sizist, of course, on this show. I just meant that it's a fuller figured phone. This is going the wrong way.
Move on quickly.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Look, I mean, look, Pixel 6. You say they teased it. You know, they've kind of built this up, everything so far, and they want you to get it. They want you to be buying into the whole point. But you know, the Pixel range of phones has been a success. I think, you know, when you look back at the start of that with the Nexus lineup, where they had, you know, a different manufacturer for each iteration,
each time, wasn't it? Yeah.
And I thought the Nexus is quite good. You know, I had a Nexus 5. You know, and they were good phones, and I used
the 5. Was that HTC?
Yes, I believe it was, wasn't it, the Nexus 5? Because I had, what was it? Yeah, the Nexus 5, and then what was the replacement for it? So I had the Nexus 5, and then no, Nexus 5 was LG, and then the 5X was no, the 5X was yeah, the 5X was LG as well. HTC did the first one.
The Nexus 1, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So so
then Samsung, and then who else? We have Samsung did quite a few. LG did a couple, didn't they? Did the 4, the 5. Motorola did the 6. LG did the 5X. Yeah, we got 6P.
Yeah.
Huawei so were even in there.
Yeah, the 5X though was, I mean, that was a good phone. I mean, obviously the Pixel lineup took that a step further. And you know, and brought it out. But I think standardization was the key, isn't it? And I think the only way that they were going to compete effectively with Apple. Oh, talking of which, our co-host is asking to be led out the studio. Bear with me a moment. I need to release. So I think, you know, the whole point around the Pixel lineup was key to having that success, having a showcase of how the OS and the hardware was meant to be, wasn't it? Because
yeah, definitely.
I think, to be honest with you, that's where they were lacking, weren't they, with the whole fragmentation of the Android market.
Yeah.
So we have the Pixel 7 then, or what might be the Pixel 7. Specs to be confirmed. But yeah, so release date for that has been slated for 23, isn't it? So
no, that's end of 22.
Oh, it is end of 22. I couldn't remember whether it was. Okay.
In the fall.
Oh, yes, the classic, the fall.
Yes. But something is going to be for next year, though. And we have even less information on, but Google just threw that out there and went, here's a new Pixel tablet.
Sorry. Back that up, sir.
Yeah, exactly. A Pixel tablet, again. I thought they'd given up on the tablets. But obviously, with Android 13, they are focusing on tablet features. So, of course, they've now decided they're going to bring out a tablet to show everyone how it's done. Yes. I'm not sure they're doing that very well, though, from the pictures I've seen. So, information is scarce. It's going to have a Tensor chip, surprise. And they showed us a picture of it. And it looks quite oldish design with thick bezels.
You took the words out of my mouth. Bezel-y is probably the only way I can describe it.
You know what it reminds me of? The Nest Hub Max.
Yes!
It looks like the display off the front of that, just bigger.
Yes! Are you reading my notes?
Maybe.
You know, I was just going to say, it looks from the front like it is the front of a Nest Hub. Yeah, exactly that. And it's only when the side view and you see that it is a tablet and it's not got connected to some, you know, power dock piece. I don't get it. I don't get the design ethos. I get why they want to do it because you know, the Pixel, the Nexus tablets, wasn't it, were again expensive and they were a showcase again for what could be done. But Android has never worked.
Pixelbook, their Chromebook. That was lovely hardware. Very, very nice. Way overkill for a Chromebook and way too expensive.
Well, the Pixelbook Go as a Chromebook, those were the ones, weren't they? That kind of unbelievable standard on those. But
Yeah.
again, you're right. It's kind of a bit like the NVIDIA reference cards, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the standard of what you can do with it. It's up to you what you want to do.
And if
And I
this is going to
think
be the standard for the Google tablets going forward, Apple has nothing to worry about.
no, but I think the problem they've got with Android, and this has been the thing about Android on a tablet, has never been as good as Android on a phone, has it?
No.
Realistically,
And that's why I think the other picture said 20 plus optimized Google tablet apps as the other feature they announced.
yeah, and
It
that's the
tells you
other thing
all
that
you need to know, really, doesn't it?
yeah, but that's also the thing is around the Android 13 um, piece is bringing in a major upgrade to tablet applications and the interface as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole thing here, isn't it? For them this year is about how to improve that experience and give you something that feels like you're working on a tablet and just not a glorified big phone.
Yeah.
I just,
We'll see.
I
They've
don't
got to
know.
do something because tablets on Android are just terrible at the moment.
Yeah,
They
I
always
mean,
have been.
Samsung again. Um, Samsung again are, leading the way there in the Android market space for tablets. There's no denying
Yeah.
on that. But to suggest that Google themselves are going to come in and disrupt it with this particular piece of kit, I'm surprised. Those bezels alone, it just like I say, I just keep staring at it. I think there's a hub. It's a Nest Hub or what they call it, Google Hub or whatever.
Well, maybe that's another feature I haven't told us. Maybe it's going to be able to dock with a hub.
Well, maybe that is the case because, funny enough, one of the pictures they showed, isn't it, was looking like the doorbell, the Nest Cam.
Yeah,
Somebody
so
at the
maybe it's going
doorbell.
to be a hybrid device.
I would not be surprised. I have a complete feeling that this is going to be it. What was the Pixel? Was it the Pixel Slate? That was it. I'm trying to think of the name of it. The
That was the
Pixel
last
Slate
tablet, wasn't it?
was the
Yeah.
last one, but that was back in 2018, 2019. I don't
It
think it
was,
was
yep.
going to be much different to that. This is comparing that and the Slate itself. I mean, what I remember the Slate actually looked a lot better than this in my
I
opinion.
mean, the bezels look thinner for a start.
Christ, yeah. I mean, and the Slate came with the keyboard, didn't it? As well, you could have.
It did, yes.
So this again, I would not be surprised if this was a dockable piece of kit. But yeah, to be honest with you, I need to. There's got to be more information on this because at the moment I am not convinced based on.
Because if that's
based
what they're
on
going to
this,
start selling, it's not going to
yeah.
sell.
No, and it's going to be tensor powered. I'm guessing it's going to have a minimum of kind of probably 6 or 8 gig of RAM. I'm hoping more than 256 gig hard disk space if you want to make it effective. But yeah, and cameras. Cameras is going to be key. It's got to have cameras, and it's got to have the same type of cameras that you kind of want to have on an iPad, isn't it? So something like center stage appropriate, or equivalent.
Yep.
The ability to do good video calling are all going to be key to its success, especially if they want it to be dockable, but who knows. Anyway, moving on from the tablet because that's going to drive us nuts. That's not the only bit of hardware then they dropped, was it? Then the last one of the last.
This is one that got me genuinely excited. They were showing off some more of their AR glasses. So yeah, Google Glass is back, but not quite in the way you think it is. So this was, I mean, they didn't show much. They had lots of very snazzy videos to get you excited. But they didn't show you any of the tech around it or what made it up, or even show you what the displays look like in AR. It was all about how it can enable better conversation, wasn't it? Basically, they were showing real-time subtitles, for want of a better word here. So if someone's speaking to you, regardless of what the language, or if you're watching a video, whatever the noise is, it can pick it up, it can translate it into your language, then show it as a real-time transcribing within the AR glasses.
I think these look amazing. The styling's a little bit odd, let's be honest, but but the whole concept of that is just phenomenal, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they were showing people who, I think they had one woman on there whose mum spoke a different language, and enabled her to go and speak to her mum and understand what she was saying. They showed someone who was hard of hearing, being able to actually, without having to lip read, be able to understand what people were saying. Yeah, it was all very, very good.
I just, how has nobody done this?
Well, Apple have just announced this, but not in glasses, haven't they?
Yeah, but no, but what I mean is, so I'm saying, how has nobody come up with all of the AR and the VR and all that tech that we've had, and the people putting together? How has nobody done this already? Because when you think about it, this is one of those kind of problems and solutions that actually has real meaningful impact to people that wear them, isn't it, or have them?
It is.
This isn't show me navigation in front of my face. This isn't text message from my friend. This is potentially life changing. I
It
think
is.
that's as
Yeah.
big as it is. To be
It
fair,
is life changing. So my wife's hard of hearing. She wears hearing aids, and I showed her this video. She goes, "That would literally change her life. It would make situations being out and about so much easier that she could just look at someone and see what they're actually saying."
I can't imagine how effective this would be. I'm guessing, given the speed of processing now, it's going to be actually probably pretty good.
Oh yeah.
It can't be no worse than the live transcript on Zoom. Um,
Teams one's not that bad actually. I was testing that the other day. It was okay. Zoom, yeah, Zoom's pretty terrible.
But I mean, do you know what? I'd find this would be amazing, I didn't. You have to correct me. I didn't see anywhere whether it said it did translation of language.
It did, yeah.
Or was it? That was a bit I couldn't remember, or whether it was just your language. But it's a bit. I just like. Can you imagine going into somewhere, a foreign country, and talking to somebody, and they talk back to you, and it comes just. I can't.
Just
Yeah. It's to me, and of all of the stuff I want from AR or VR, this was the thing I didn't think of.
something
Yeah,
genuinely useful.
but when you gave me your example, like you said, and I was like, yeah, you're right. That is really, really impressive. Yeah. Um, Will though, the thing I have to say is the glasses they showed, wasn't it? Where not the kind of styling was interesting. I think my
Yeah.
view is they look like the 3D glasses you got at the IMAX.
What, the 299 pair that you throw away at the
Yeah,
end? That's the one, yeah.
crossed with the snap glasses, just the old them.
Oh yeah. And there were no cameras in this, was there?
No. So where's it coming from?
Well, I presume, is it really AR? Is it just project? It's just a screen, a translucent screen, isn't it? That's showing it in front of you. But they didn't show any of that kind of tech. Obviously, they'll have microphones to pick up on the voices.
Well, yes, it's got to be the only way to do it, isn't it? From that point of view, and I guess the other thing they didn't show was any interaction or what a UI would look like, was it,
No,
or
they didn't.
how they connect to your device,
Who they connect to your
or
device?
what applications you have to leverage to do that. That kind of thing. You're right. They haven't. What I did see, and we did a bit of research, it turns out that this is partly powered by an acquisition they bought,
Okay.
called North. Um,
Oh.
and the North had developed. They were back in 2020. They were a AR startup who made smart glasses that were a kind of a competitor, if you wish, to Google Glass, or I don't. Well, maybe not competitor, but kind of an alternative. They were called Thalmic Labs, and they made they basically had smart glasses that displayed information inside them.
Cool.
So Google picked them up apparently for under 200 million.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
what they called this was ambient computing,
Okay.
which ambient computing is computing that's everywhere, but not um in your face. It's a
Yeah.
single experience. They're called, apparently, according to Google, the quote was ambient computing is a single consistent experience at home, work, on the go, being able to access services wherever you are with a consistent set of methods and commands. And it
Yeah.
wants those Google services to disappear into the background and become as reliable as essential as running water.
Ooh, okay.
And in a funny kind of way, I think that is where we are heading with computing, isn't it? In the
Yeah.
sense of, if you look at how, as a society, what was once a telephone that made phone calls a communication now runs your life.
Definitely.
And it does that without any thought process, doesn't it? You don't think, I'm gonna, you just do it.
No, exactly.
and what was the computer, a fixed, for all intents and purposes, a fixed terminal in a position in your house, is now a small device in your pocket that goes everywhere, and is almost become an extension of you. And something like these glasses, I think, could do something very similar to that. If the tech is as capable as they say it is, and the vision becomes reality, you won't think you're running Google. It'd just be a translation service, wouldn't it? It'd just be, whatever, how it works. So
Exactly.
It really could be a game changer. And I get excited about this kind of stuff because, to me, with all the phones and the earbuds, this stuff, this
is what I want to hear
actually,
more about. Yeah.
this has the potential to be something that could change the world. I know that other companies out there, like the one Google acquired, who are doing this stuff already and probably are kicking themselves when they see Google go on stage. Really, we've been doing this for years, but we can't bring it to market. And I guess that's probably the reality of these things, isn't it? That Google and Apple, etc., Microsoft have the power to bring it to market.
They do.
Yeah. I'd love to see it, and I'd certainly, if this was real, I'd love to see, the capability of, like, say, your wife, and whether or not she'd be able to get, a good impact out of it.
Definitely.
That would be impressive. But
they'll be on
one thing we don't know,
I'm sure.
I was just going to say, the one thing you don't know is the cost, my friend.
It can't be any more expensive than hearing aids.
No.
Right. So we had a few tidbits now, don't we, from the software? They didn't announce much software-wise in the speech, anyway, did they? So we got bizarrely, I didn't realize this. So Google's messaging platform does support end-to-end encryption, but it's only for one-to-one chat. So they're now going to roll that out to groups. And it's all based on, is it RCS, the one they're trying to get Apple to adopt?
Yep. The whole messaging standard, isn't it?
It is. So if you're part of groups, you'll hopefully soon you'll have encrypted chats. I just presumed they were, to be honest.
I would have thought so, but what do we know?
Apparently not. No, apparently not. So moving swiftly on, and this is a bizarre one. So this used to be a product, didn't it? Google Wallet. It's coming back.
Yeah, they got rid of this, didn't they? They killed it when they
killed it and brought out Google Pay, didn't they, as its replacement? But now Google Wallet is coming back, and it's going to support your payment cards, your transit passes, memberships, tickets, airline travel information, blah blah blah. And you can use it anywhere that you can use Google Pay to pay for things. But Google Pay is still going to be around. Apparently so. I mean, this just kind of sounds like they're burying Google Pay and bringing back Wallet, but Google are saying Google Pay is still going to be around.
Look, we know too well how Google operate and how they kill off services
and resurrect them, then kill them off.
And resurrect them. But what made me chuckle was the product manager, whose name was Dong Min Kim, who said,
right.
Who said, as he described some of Wallet's features, if you saved your boarding pass to a flight to Google Wallet, we'll notify you of delays and gate changes. When you head to the concert, you'll get a notification on your phone beforehand, reminding you of your saved tickets. And it also works with other apps. For instance, if you're taking a bus to see a friend and look up directions, your transit card and balance will show up alongside the route. And if you're running low on a fare, you can tap and add more. Yeah, basically that to me sounds like they're going to smash Pay and Wallet together.
That sounds like it, but still keep Google Pay.
Yeah, that's what I got from that, was that Google Pay didn't resonate, but Google Wallet did, and the only way to keep one of them alive was to smash them together and rename it as the old product.
Sure, we've talked about the Google and the whole payment things in a previous episode, and what a shambles it's been. I think they've had quite a few different people running it, haven't they, who have left.
They have
halfway through things, and it's just not really worked out. But hey, all hail Google Wallet.
Yeah, do you know what? If those features are there, I'd love to see some of those features with Apple. Now, you do get that to an extent, you know, some of those things like the boarding passes pop up when you're close to your flight. It does allow you to launch apps from the wallet, doesn't it? But it's not quite as clever as, looking up directions in a map and it pops the transit card up. Those kind of things. That's taking it a slight step further. I do.
Oh, you'd have to use Apple Maps for that. No one uses Apple Maps.
No, they don't. But actually, Apple Maps really is not bad at all. I think we give it short change, but I think it's unfair given given how well it looks now, and I think it does compare, in my opinion. I've used it a couple of times now. I can't break the muscle memory
Oh,
to
I
use
need to
it.
look at a map. Go to Google Maps.
Yeah, that's the problem. I can't break that muscle memory, but it isn't bad. I shouldn't knock it at all. It isn't bad.
Okay.
So, but there is. When did they say that? They said it's going to launch, didn't they? Or they didn't actually. I don't think they did
No,
say
they
when it was
didn't.
going
They
to
didn't
launch.
say when it was going to launch.
No, they didn't, did they? They said it was coming soon. That was it.
They did.
So, talking of payments, then,
Mm.
Wallet wasn't the only announcement on that front, was it? Then,
No. So coming to Google Chrome. So I think it already supports auto-filling of cards and stuff, doesn't it? But you're going to be getting virtual credit cards now. So if you've ever used Apple Pay or Google Pay, basically every time you use it, for every transaction, it generates a unique credit card number. So that basically you're never giving your real credit card details to whoever you're paying. And it's just seamless. It just works. But obviously that doesn't work for sites or services that don't actually support Apple Pay or Google Pay, or cards that don't support that, for example. So built into Chrome, you're now going to be able to generate virtual credit cards backed by your real credit cards for any service you need it. And again, that'll give you that kind of unique credit card number for each one. Now, I think they did mention they're going to support subscriptions as well. So if you want to generate a unique credit card number just for that one subscription, so if you want to cancel it easily, you can just cancel the virtual credit card. You'll be able to do that one.
Are there other services on that? I'm sure there are other services
there are.
that you can do this.
Yeah. What's it called? Privacy.com is one of those, but only available in America. So I'd love to use privacy.com. It's got some cool features, but yeah, US only at the moment. Google apparently, again, I think it's starting with the US only, and actually only with Capital One as the first partner. But they said shortly after they'll be rolling it out to Visa, American Express, MasterCards, and then shortly after that, international. So hopefully you might see it in this country.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see that. I think it's a great idea, and I think any way you can give yourself additional protection, buying online when you need to, is great.
Definitely.
Apple Pay is a fantastic way of doing it, and there's Google Pay alternatively, again, another fantastic way to do it. But you're right, if you can't support that and you don't want to use your credit card, because you have a concern, maybe the ability to do that virtual card that's a great approach. And it just is a shame, as you say, that we can't use the competing services or not, or should we say, a like for like services, outside of the US. But why not?
Now,
interesting.
Google have said they're not going to charge anything for using the virtual card, so vendors won't have to give up a cut of their profit. But when they say they're not charging anything, they're going to be mining your data.
Well, I was going to say,
you're selling your soul and not paying for it with real hard money.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's it, isn't it?
Yes, that's it. But the websites you're spending on don't have to support this, do anything to alter it, so it should just work out of the box.
And supports the new Google Wallet app.
I should hope so.
Oh, well, impressed. Look, another nice little feature. Nothing new, let's be honest, compared to, because as we said, the privacy.com and other people are doing that, but a pretty cool approach. Similar to who is it? Curve do that. So Curve in the UK, I've got the app. Of course you have. You can load in your own apps, your own kind of link your own cards in the Curve app, and then Curve give you another card that kind of like masquerades, but it's not virtual. It's a physical card, and the number stays the same. But it means you can, let's say you go to a site that doesn't take, don't ask me why, but it doesn't take Visa. Let's just say, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can then use that to, because it's a MasterCard, you can actually use that, but actually you're paying with your Visa card because of the back end, it's linked. And you can swap between different cards. So you can, gain points on one card by paying a vendor. It's very clever. And I used it for a while. When, the Amazon debacle, they were going to get rid of Visa.
Of course, yes.
And I could still use my Barclay card. But I wasn't using my Barclay card. I was using, the Curve card, which was MasterCard. But yeah, so it's quite clever that way.
Not heard of those. I'll have to investigate that.
Yeah, free app, Curve. Again, no, we're not doing it for the money, but if you want to sponsor us, we'd be most happy. Cool. So I think that is everything from the lineup this week, isn't it? Have I missed anything, Carl?
It is. That is it. There is no rumor corner because all my rumors are Apple, and I didn't want to sully the Google event, so we'll save those for next week.
Oh, you disappoint our our able listeners.
Can't all be about Apple.
No, it can't. Well, for those of you that do want to hear the Tech Rant Rumor Mill, we will be back next week for episode 89. Yes, 89 indeed, where we have another full packed lineup. We've already got the show notes here ready to go, unless some big stories drop in the meantime. We're going to cover everything from Intel, Apple, yes, Apple. We're going to talk Nvidia with the story of the year, I think, for Nvidia, in my opinion. We're going to talk Meta, the chip shortage, and the Tech Rant Rumor Mill is back with a small pot of rumors. See, they're bubbling away. I can see them right now. But before that, then, of course, we're going to wrap up here on episode 88. Of course, you can find us online at techrant.online. You can find us also on Twitter at Weekly Tech Rant, and wherever you find and listen to your podcast, you're listening to one right now. So wherever you found that, you can find us again. Share with your friends, give us a like, tell everybody about us, whether you like us or not. The more, the merrier. With that, I've been Jay.
I've been Carl. Have a good evening, all.